Hello, everyone, and welcome to Burn the Ship, the podcast that helps entrepreneurs go all in on their business, and we introduce them to professionals that can help them to do so. Today, we have a very special guest. Tracy, how are you doing today?
I am fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing very well. Please introduce yourself and the name of your business.
Well, my name is Tracy Worthington, and my business is named Worthy Coaching SOULutions, meaning for
Nice.
the soul.
Nice. You better make sure to say that solutions part when they
SOULutions.
call when they call for you. Well, Tracy, we understand that time is one of our most valuable resources. So go ahead and jump in there and tell us a little bit about your journey.
Wow. Well, I feel like I have always had to kind of recreate my life. It started in 2008. I lost my husband to suicide, and I had to kind of reinvent my life again. I had to figure out what was my life going to be like now as a widow
Mm-hmm.
and living by myself in Los Angeles. And I had to really kind of dig deep and figure out who was I going to be now, now that I'm not a wife. I owned a couple of businesses. I've always been in the beauty industry, and I had a bath and body company, and that was starting to take some changes. I used to have a really strong niche, and then it sort of developed into the big the big brands were starting to bring out more of the niche products like what I was doing. So I had to make that decision. Did I want to move forward with that, or did I want to pivot? And so
Mm-hmm.
I did make the decision to pivot. It was going to take a lot for me to keep the company moving forward. I was going to need a lot of capital for that. And at that point, after losing my husband, I really just didn't have it in my heart to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the transitions that I made was I moved out of LA and I moved down to the Coachella Valley, which is Palm Springs. Most people probably know it as Coachella or Stagecoach, which are our
Oh,
big
okay.
music
Okay.
festivals down here. And I grew
Yeah.
up here, and it's very healing here. And it was exactly what I needed. So
Mm-hmm.
during that transition, I realized, you know, I still needed to be in the beauty industry. There was something about the creativity that I just really loved, and I loved helping women transform from the outside. Because when they would walk in my salon, sometimes their shoulders would be slumped, their head would be down, but they'd leave. We as women, when our hair looks good and our makeup looks good, we feel good about ourselves. So I
Right.
loved that part of the beauty industry, really helping women feel good about themselves. And then in 2016, I had to make another transition. This was a really big one. I had unfortunately made a very bad business purchase, and I got totally screwed on the deal and ended up losing my house over it, ended up
Okay.
having to file bankruptcy over it, at a house that I had owned free and clear in a very prestigious country club down here in the desert.
Yes.
So during that time, and that was also during COVID. It took several years for all of this to catch up. But during COVID here in California, our beauty industry was deemed to be closed. And we were closed for 10 months. And
Oh.
during that time, I had a bunch of girlfriends reaching out to me saying, hey, I want to start a business. I don't want to go back to the office. Can you help me? I know you have 30 years of being a business owner. Can you help me? So I started helping my girlfriends, and they were calling saying, hey, I got my business cards, or I got a logo, and I did this. And I realized that really, uh, I really loved that process of helping people and seeing them grow. And it was during COVID that I decided to make the pivot and not reopen my salons, and to make the pivot into helping women transform from the inside out. So
Okay.
that's sort
Okay.
of my journey, and got certified for coaching, and that's how it started.
Gotcha. And all of the shows that I have, I always ask this question. I think I have a pretty good idea, but there was a specific moment that you had to say, okay, I'm going to burn the ship and go all in on my new business. Was it a success from one of your girlfriends, or was it, hey, that business deal? What would you say is that moment that you said, hey, now I'm going to go all in on Worthy Coaching?
I would say it was probably that summer of COVID, just helping some of my girlfriends and seeing that to be honest with you, that I really knew what I was talking about.
Hmm.
As business
Hmm.
owners, we don't always believe that we know that we know the proper things and that we can actually help people. So it was
Hmm.
me really seeing that I could help others transform and feel good about themselves and help them pull out what it was they wanted to do next. Because a
Okay.
lot of them didn't know what was going to be next for them. They just knew what they didn't want. They didn't know what they did want.
Okay.
And so I helped them figure out what they did want to do.
Yeah. And then at that particular time, you say, you know what? I can do this. So now I want you to tell us all about Worthy Coaching and who you're helping, what you're helping with, who's that ideal client for you. Tell us all about your business so we can be more familiar.
Well, I've always been an advocate for women, being in the beauty industry. I think you naturally, if you are drawn to the beauty industry, you naturally are drawn to helping women feel better and look better about themselves. So for me, I really love coaching other women and helping them move past their mindset and their blocks and all of their imposter syndrome, everything that they feel that they are not worthy of or that they're not capable of. I like to really help them move through that because I too have had that, where I've had an imposter syndrome where I don't believe that I could really be successful at this or I could really do that. So women suffer from that. 70% of women suffer from imposter syndrome. And that's really my passion, is to help women realize what their worth is and what they're really capable of doing. So for me, because I'm now in my midlife, and I noticed that when I was 40, that I lost my husband at 40 when I was 43. And that's really when women kind of start transitioning. Their kids are going off to college. They don't know what their role is anymore. And that was really where I was stuck also, is figuring out who I was going to be next. And after I closed my salon here in California, that was another thing. I had owned the business for 10 years and everybody knew me as Tracy from Just Blow Dries. When Just
Hmm.
Blow Dries was gone, who was I? I didn't know who I was. And I find a lot of women feel the same way. And I hear that almost on a daily basis, even on television shows and radio shows. I hear women being interviewed saying, I don't know what's next for me. So that's really where my passion lies, is helping women figure out what is next for you. What are you passionate about? What do you want to do? Let's do it.
Okay. Now, is that one of those things where I know when you were getting going, you were helping your girlfriends that were locally? Do you keep the business local, or do you help people all over the country, all over the world? Tell us a little about your geographical area.
I help everybody so far all over the US. I haven't
Okay.
really had any requests for overseas, but I'm certainly open to it.
Okay.
I think, sometimes the time difference is a constraint there for people. But
Hmm.
yeah, I have clients all across the US.
Okay. And let's just say I'm a young lady and I'm looking for Tracy's help. Are you providing courses, seminars? You have printed materials? Tell us a little bit about how that engagement looks if I'm working with you.
Well, I offer one-on-one coaching, and that's a
Hmm.
6-month journey.
Hmm.
Where we just work one-on-one. And I'm really big on no cookie cutter coaching. So, I like to coach my client right where they're at. And yes, I have certain steps that I take everybody through, but
Hmm.
everybody's journey is different. So I really, have to customize that for everybody. I also offer group coaching, and I'm getting ready to launch a monthly membership, which I'm really super excited about. And it's going to be just $27 a month. I mean, everybody spends that much on a fancy coffee for the month,
Yes,
going
that's
out to
right.
coffee.
Hmm.
We're going to have great guests on. I have a friend who a couple of years ago got a divorce and decided to move to Dubai all by herself. and she started a business, and now she has a very successful real estate brokerage firm. I have
Okay.
another friend who's in her 50s and just became a doctor. She went back to school and became a PhD. So I'm going to have those type of inspiring guests that, it doesn't matter what your age is, you can always start over and do something that you want to do. So that's going to be really fun. And then later this year, I'll be launching my mastermind, which is about recreating your life on purpose.
Awesome, awesome. Those are some wonderful things that you have going and some magnificent things you have in store. And as we share today and you're telling me about yourself, I am confident that there are some skills that you have acquired and nurtured over time that has helped in your beauty care businesses, your salon, now even with your coaching. Do you mind sharing with some of the entrepreneurs that are watching today some of those skills that you believe can help them on their journey?
I think first and foremost is always mindset. Everything starts with your belief system, with your mindset, what you believe you are capable of. And that's where I always like to start. I like to figure out where my client is in their mindset and help them get rid of those limiting beliefs and replace them with something that's more positive. So that's always that's the first place I start is with mindset. And then of course, goal setting. A lot of people, I didn't know this, but a lot of people do not know how to properly set goals.
Mm-hmm.
That was shocking to me. And so that's the other thing is really helping them to learn how to set their goals so they can achieve that goal and not, take it down into little tiny baby steps so that it feels doable. Those are
Yes.
my two big skill sets.
Excellent, excellent. That is a fact because if your mindset is in the wrong place, just to say, if it was filled with doubt words like maybe I can get this done, or I can't get this done, or it doesn't matter, it's not going to happen anyway, that can hinder you from going forward. And like I tell my sales team all the time, if you don't set goals, I don't know how I'm trying and where I'm trying to get you to. So if
Exactly.
I can't possibly know where you're trying to go, how can I put together any type of process to try to get you there? So those are two magnificent skills I appreciate you sharing with us today.
It's sort of like it's that old cliche that how do you know how to get from California to New York without a map? You have
Mm-hmm.
to have a
Mm-hmm.
map. And
Right.
it's the same thing with goal setting. You have to have a roadmap to get from point A to point B.
Yes, yes, no doubt about it. Now, Tracy, um, you have shared a lot about your history, some of those things that you've been through that you had to overcome. Share with us about your business and some of those skills. Always like people to know that my guests are also humans. So let's just say that you have gotten all of the ladies on the right path, their soul is in the right position, and you had more time to yourself and money wasn't an issue. What is it that Tracy would do with her additional time?
My husband and I traveled a lot. We used to go to Paris and London. And so there's still a lot of countries I have not seen. Absolutely love Paris. So I think traveling is definitely, that's in the works for me. That's really why I transitioned into coaching is I wanted to have a little more freedom.
Okay. Okay. Now, Paris, I know, is that the next destination you have on the calendar, or where are you headed to next?
I think I'm going to be 60 next year.
Okay.
And so I think I am going to celebrate my 60th birthday with a few girlfriends in Paris.
Okay, sweet, sweet. Now, for the people that are watching today, if they're interested in learning more about your coaching business, if they want to learn more about those skills that you shared with us today, what is the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Definitely through the website. There's a page where they can put their information in and answer a few questions. And I can look at those and give them, we can schedule a 30-minute call and see if it's a good fit for them, see if it's a good fit for me. I don't always take clients just because they want to work with me. I need to make sure
Mhm.
that I can help them and that they're committed to making the changes. So I put them through a little bit of an interview and application process to make sure that they're dedicated to that.
Yes, making sure they're a good fit. And share with us the website address. What's the website address for
It's
us?
Worthy, WORTHY, Coaching SOULutions, SOULutions.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we always appreciate our guests coming on and sharing their stories, because sometimes there are some deep, deep things in there when you're pulling back the layers of that onion. And we appreciate you so much. We want to honor you by giving you the last word. So please look into the camera and tell the people something good.
Oh my goodness. I think the one thing that I would tell everybody is start your day with gratitude. I always wake up in the morning and the first thing I say is thank you. I learned that from Oprah years ago, that all you have to do is say thank you. So every morning I wake up and I just say thank you that I'm alive. Thank you for another day that I can help others. So for me, it's really gratitude is the first thing we should start our day with.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing today, Tracy. We
Thank
truly
you.
do appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Awesome. And to everyone that is watching today, be kind and thanks.